Alright guys, so I get this question a lot in my comments on choosing between LG V60, the Note 20 Ultra, and surprisingly the iPhone 11, which I say all the time is a fantastic phone, especially for anybody who is like really into iPhones and stuff like that. But these seem to be like, very, very requested in terms of like choosing between the three in the comments here. So let me know down below which one would you choose. But instead of, I don't want to ignore all the comments because obviously I can't answer them all in detail, but I want to make this video to sum up sort of the pros and the cons of each device so you can get a pretty good idea of what you're getting into. So honestly, all three of these phones are really, really great. They all actually have unique pros about them, and we'll go ahead and get into it here. Alright, so one of the first things I like to do is break it down by displays, because if you're a big display person, you watch a lot of content, play a lot of games, I think you will really like the Note 20 Ultra. It has the best display here. Now, like I said, it's a pretty interesting because the LG V60 has dual screen case capability, so you can technically make it two screens, which is pretty cool, and have a true multitasking experience. But I think as far as display specs, the Note 20 Ultra has a superior display here. It's 1440p and it's 120 Hz. Now the 120 Hz can only be used at, the 1080p, but it's still, it just looks much better than the 60 Hz displays, and also just has the highest resolution here and the slimmest bezels. And really it depends on if you like curved displays, because these two displays are flat. So you have those advantages. So I would say display type, Note 20 Ultra, V60 second best display, because it's also an OLED display, and it's also, you have dual screen case capability. And then the iPhone 11, I'd say, probably has the worst display here. It's IPS, and it's not because it's IPS really, because some people like IPS, LCD displays. It's really because of the notch is just kind of intrusive on here. It's just kind of looks outdated compared to these two phones. And also it's only 720p plus display, so it's not very high resolution display, but it is still a fairly decent display, honestly, for most people. So yeah, that's definitely something to consider. I think the Note 20 Ultra has the best display. So if you're into watching a lot of movies, watch a lot of video on your phone, I think you'll really enjoy the Note 20 Ultra here. Now, I think the LG V60 is a very interesting phone for a lot of people because it has a lot of additional features that I think a lot of people would like. You got the dual screen case, you have the headphone jack on here. It's the only phone here with a headphone jack with a quad DAC, and then you also have SD card support. The Note 20 Ultra also has a pretty good setup. Like I said, it depends on your wants, right? The Note 20 Ultra has SD card support but no headphone jack, but it also has a built-in stylus. So anybody who's into digital artwork and stuff like that, you will absolutely love this S Pen. Not only that, but there's just like a ton of features on here that you can take advantage of with One UI. They have a ton of built-in software that I think you would really like with this phone. Now, obviously, with the iPhone, it's unique because it's got, FaceTime and iMessage, which is something that a lot of people like. But it's mostly, I think that it will benefit you mostly in the States. From what I've been told from my subscribers overseas, a lot of people use an app called WhatsApp or Snapchat messaging, stuff like that. They use third-party stuff, so I don't think that's really essential probably in other countries, but could be wrong, let me know. But yeah, I would say those are some of the unique things about each phone here. Now, another very interesting thing here that we have to talk about is software support. So both of these phones got their last major OS update, the LG and the Note, and then the iPhone looks like it'll get iOS 17, and it probably will get iOS 18 as well too. So it does have, it's looking like it will have a much longer lifespan. So the Note 20 Ultra is getting security patches right now, and I want to know you guys' opinions on that. Like, do you feel like a phone that's getting security patches is outdated, or do you not feel safe using the phone? I've had some people in the comments say you can use, antivirus software, or I personally have phones that have not gotten any security patches, and I've never gotten any sort of hack or anything like that. So you guys can chime in on that. But yeah, so that's definitely one thing. The V60, and that's one thing about this phone, we don't know if it's going to get security patches or not. We actually just have to wait and see because it just got the Android 13 update. Alright, so next I want to touch on gaming because that's always something that a lot of people like. Honestly, all of these phones are pretty good at gaming. If I was gonna say, which phone I would personally pick up for gaming specifically, it would probably be the Note 20 Ultra, only because it seems like it's just got better settings for PUBG and Call of Duty Mobile. This I can play PUBG at 90 frames. I can't play it at 90 frames on any other phone. But yeah, it's just super smooth on here, but it's just as good on the iPhone 11 and the LG V60. But again, like, the only thing is that it does not have the 60 frames. But gaming on here, like I said, one of the unique things again about the LG V60 is that it does have that dual screen case, so you can actually see like the full PUBG map if you buy the case, which I think is pretty cool, very unique. So yeah, so the iPhone does a spectacular job too at gaming. It's all able to play at 60 frames very easily, guys. So regardless of which phone you get, I think you'll have a very good gaming experience on all these phones. Like I said, me personally, I've just like doing my gaming tests. I noticed that the Note 20 Ultra is just way better optimized for games when it comes to Fortnite and Call of Duty Mobile. So that's just one thing I noticed. So if you're serious, I know a lot of people play PUBG competitively on their phones, so that's why I'm just using that as a marker. Now, when it comes to the cameras on all of these phones, you have pretty fantastic cameras on all of these phones. Like the iPhone 11, you'll be surprised, has very awesome cameras. I did a comparison even with the iPhone 14 Pro, and it just did a fantastic job with image quality. So you really can't go wrong with either of these phones. So that's why I say old flagship phones are just really great. But there are some limits with the cameras. Like for the iPhone, it only has an ultra wide lens, so it's only a dual camera setup. I think it has some of the best video out of these phones as well too. But like I said, it only has those two lenses. They all can shoot in 4K as well too. The V60 can even shoot in 8K. But I would say the best camera is still, I would probably go with the Note 20 Ultra, only because of the diversity with the cameras, as far as having the 5x telephoto lens, and then you have the 50 times hybrid zoom, so you can get pretty nice zoom shots on here for an older phone. It has a higher resolution sensor on here as well too, so it's able to actually shoot in 108 megapixels here, so it can get you some high resolution shots as well too. So I do really like the cameras on here. The video is also very solid, and like I said, I just think overall the image processing is just something that I prefer. The V60 is also really great as well too. It's sort of on par with the Note 20 Ultra. The only thing is it lacks the zooming capability. Of the Note 20 Ultra, it doesn't have like crazy, like when you compare the zoom with the Note 20 Ultra versus the V60s, obviously the Note 20 Ultra is going to be better. I do like the image processing on the V60 as well. It gives very natural colors, which I think a lot of people might like. Is if the colors feel a little bit more lifelike than Samsung. Samsung can sort of give you these very like really colorful shots, not really lifelike, but they look good. But yeah, it really comes down to that. But I would say for cameras, I would go with the Note 20 Ultra for sure. I just think it has the better camera setup. Alright, all of these phones have stereo speakers, so let's go ahead and check them out. Yeah, LG V60 definitely a little bit louder. It hits a little harder than the Note. iPhone has some really strong bass. So by speaker quality, I would say the V60 sounds the best here for sure. It sounds the most balanced. The Note 20 Ultra sounds pretty good as well too. I would say, yeah, I would put the Note 20 Ultra second. The iPhone, it just sounds like it's not as loud, but it has very loud base, very impressive base for such a small phone. But yeah, just as far as speaker quality, I think the V60 kills it here. And lastly, I think one of the most important things when buying a refurbished phone is you want to know about battery life. I can get 6 hours of screen on time out of all of these phones, even with the iPhone. This is a refurbished one, and let me check the battery health. It should be still around 80. Yeah, it's 87% battery health, so I can easily get 6 hours out of this iPhone 11 if I'm not doing anything too intensive. But the best battery is still the V60 by far. It just has the best standby time. It's not even close. The V60 has the best battery life here. Note 20 Ultra and the iPhone 11 feel actually somewhat on par with each other as far as, you know, just screen on time and as far as standby time. But the V60 is no match. I can leave this phone for days and it'll still be, you know, I can still boot it up. With the iPhone and the Note, if I leave it for days, it'll be dead pretty much. So yeah, battery life definitely much better on the V60. All these phones have wireless charging as well too, but the Note 20 Ultra has reverse wireless charging, which is something that I really like as well too, which none of these phones have. It also has Samsung desktop support, which nobody talks about a lot, but it's very slept on feature. Guys, so that is pretty much it. I think those are the major pros and cons that you have to sort of decide from, but honestly, they're all really great phones. Like I said, if it was me personally, I would probably lean more towards the Note 20 Ultra. I think it's just the more feature-packed phone, even though it's a little bit more expensive. But let me know what you guys think.